Good afternoon, everybody. I'm just going to allow another minute or two. We have a lot of people that are signed up for the webinar, and I can see the numbers going up as I'm talking. So I'm just going to give it another minute or so before we formally kick off. Thanks for your patience. Okay, I'm going to kick it off now. I didn't give a full minute or two, but I just want to be aware of the value of people's times. For those of you who know me and know the sound of my voice, this is Ed McCarthy. I'm the CEO of Echelon Performance. Before we dive into the overview of PraxisPro Coach, I just want to say thanks. It's everybody is so busy today. And this is a busy time of year. Everybody's trying to put a bow on 2025 and get a jump on 2026. So I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to be part of this and hear about our new product. This webinar, just so to be clear, is about PraxisPro Coach powered by Echelon. It really is the first of its kind. It's an AI-powered role play platform. And I am aware that there are other platforms out there that do this, but this is really the first of its kind designed for the life sciences marketplace. Because, and I'll say this, I'm going to try not to steal any thunder from my partner today, Cam Badger, but this product is designed by and for people in the life sciences industry. Again, I'm not going to steal from Cam, but both of us have been in sales. I guess we're always in sales, but we've been first line managers. We've been area directors. So we've come up through this system, just like the people who this product is designed for. And as far as I know, we're the only product that does that. And also it's the only AI platform that is powered by Echelon's 20 years of research into high quality coaching and also coaching best practices. But we'll get into all that. Over the next 40 minutes, we're going to give a good background just on us. We'll touch on the backgrounds of our companies and how we got together. But I think the meat of the conversation is going to be a demo of the product. And even though I have some time set aside for questions near the end of our presentation, the Q&A feature, the chat feature on this webinar is wide open. And we have Claire Davids from our team working behind the scenes to make sure that all of those questions are going to get answered. And if you can stay till the end, which should, again, be about 40 minutes from now, we're going to share a quick assessment that you and your peers and your team can use to gauge the overall readiness of your organization when it comes to the use of AI role play, and a tool like PraxisPro Coach. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my partner today, Cameron Badger. Cam, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ed. Excited to be here. Hi, everyone. My name is Cam Badger. I'm the founder and CEO of PraxisPro, where we're developing an AI native, purpose-built, next-generation learning management system for the life sciences industry. I started my career about 13 years ago as a sales professional, quickly moved into sales training, and then eventually, as Ed mentioned, into frontline sales leadership. And we're building products at our company for every one of those roles that I held, and what I wish that I had when I was a rep, when I was a trainer, and when I was a manager. And so when I met Ed and Claire, I was super excited because I knew the Echelon name and I knew the deep research that they had done specifically on the commercial side of coaching within this industry. And so to have this partnership to be able to power our third product that is now coming to market is extremely exciting. And so I'm excited to show what we've been working on and how we're going to be really improving the way coaches coach every single day.
Fantastic, fantastic. And again, my name is Ed McCarthy. I'm the CEO. I'm the founder of Echelon Performance. I'm not going to talk much about me, but I do want to talk a little bit about the work that we do here at Echelon. For 20 years, we've really focused on answering one question in life sciences, and that is, how do top performing managers leverage coaching to foster higher performance? And achieve better results, develop their team and produce results. And over the years, we've been able to develop a series of best practices and criteria for high quality coaching that we know have a direct correlation with overall performance. And I'm excited. You can see the canvas. We're both really excited about this. Those insights are encapsulated in the four coaching best practices, and they're now going to be able to be really handheld. They're going to be measurable, practicable in real time through this tool, PraxisPro Coach. And again, one of the things I do want to point out at the third bullet there is that we've done a lot of research, which is great. And I think anybody on our team would openly say they're a coaching nerd. But at the end of the day, it is about growth and performance. We don't want to just build theories and ideas. We want to put together tools and resources and insights that help first line managers make their people better, grow their skills, impact performance, and really make organizations that we work with overall a better place to work. So that's our end goal. Before we dive into the product, let's just share a little bit about how we got together. Is that okay, Cam?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Oh, go ahead, Ed.
No, you go ahead, man.
Um, so the reason that I mentioned again why we're so excited about this opportunity to work with Echelon is one, getting to partner with a team that has a deep relationship and vision that's already been spread into the life sciences industry. This is something that is very meaningful for me because again, when I was a manager, I was very aware of the work that Echelon was doing out in the market. And so I think that it's a really good foundation of talent that comes directly from this industry and understands deeply what this industry is looking for. So I'll pass it back over to you, Ed.
Oh, well, thanks, Cam. Well, so just a little bit about how we've come together. The product that we're going to be talking about and sharing today is the result of a lot of hard work over quite a long time. But I knew that this was going to be a special relationship because literally on day one, the first time I met Cam and the team, we were talking the same language. We had the same vision in mind in terms of a product that we could put in people's hands that really did provide the results and have that same philosophy that we do when it comes to development. And I'll start with the first point down on the left here. Like I said, we're coaching nerds. We do research and we have great theories and hypotheses. But at the end of the day, we want to be able to drive measurable growth and improve performance. That's the number one thing that, again, we're trying to do through the way we approach our business and the way that we saw right off the bat that Cam and his team are doing the same thing. So that has been in place and that has resonated with us, especially since day one.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that we focus on in our products is ensuring that we one meet the user where they are, right? I remember being a sales manager and really going into these field coaching rides and wanting the ability to boost my coaching capabilities through actual data that I can remember and work through and really improve the coaching that I'm going to give to that specific sales professional in that field ride. And so again, building products that I wish that I had when I was in the role. That is what we are pulling through in this specific product for PraxisPro Coach.
Yeah, it's so important. And then the last thing I want to touch on before we dive in here is I think there's nothing that's more motivating and more gratifying as a learner. I'll put myself in the shoes of a learner right now in terms of being able to see myself improve in skills that are going to make me better at my job and help the people on my team. And the way that you guys had talked early on in our relationship, and we've seen all through the development process, is that this is a product about growth, right? It's about reinforcement. It's about consistency. It's providing individualized feedback. And at the end of the day, we want people to become better at what they do in the role that they have. So again, those things have never changed and never wavered since the first days that we met. So let's do this. Before we dive into the product itself, let's take a quick pulse and put a quick poll up here. So I'm going to advance the slide in a second, but I think everybody on this call probably hears the term AI a thousand times a day. It's gone from kind of on the radar maybe 2 years ago to now, what everybody is thinking about and talking about, not just in training, not just in business, but it just seems like everywhere. So I'm going to give you a quick multiple choice poll when I advance the slide. And I want you to answer this question. And if you've used Slido, great. If not, I'll walk you through how it works. But here's the question I want you to answer. Where is your organization today in terms of its understanding and deployment of AI solutions in learning and development? Now, here's how you actually answer the question. You can see there's a QR code at the top left of the screen there. Point your phone toward that, and that should take you to a polling site based in Slido. You shouldn't have to navigate it at all. It should just pop
We've
right
got
up. So
we've got
let's take
some
it. Got
answers
some.
coming through already. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Ed, I can't be the only one on this webinar on camera. So why don't you join me? I know that there we
Here
go.
I
There
am, Cam.
we go.
I
Awesome.
apologize.
No worries.
Yeah.
Right.
So everybody just point your QR code reader to that. It'll take you to the site, and then you can answer the
Yeah.
question.
So this is interesting. So lots of discussions, but no solutions identified or deployed, and that's really common. So we launched our first product, Praxis Play, which is dynamic role play for sales professionals, or really any commercial stakeholder that engages with the customer of a life sciences organization. And yes, there's been a lot of conversation around AI, especially over the past year and a half or so in life sciences. And it's trying to find that right solution that really meets the needs, but also is able to navigate your MLR, your PRC process, and all of those compliance and regulatory needs that the organization may have. And so we do see a lot of customers and potential new customers that want to adopt these sorts of solutions, but are kind of working through what that looks like for their organization.
Yeah. I think that, as you know firsthand, and as we know, there's just been an explosion of solutions out there. I mean, AI is now embedded in pretty much every aspect of work. So, I'm just looking at how the top answer there is developing lots of discussion, but no solutions. I
Hmm.
think part of that can just feel overwhelming, right? If I'm putting myself in people's shoes, it's like, okay, I know I'm supposed to do this, and I love the idea of having AI role play. How do I start, right? I think that might be part of
Yeah.
that.
How do I
But also,
start? Where do I start? What are the different nuances to implementing a platform like this, right? We know that, some of the agents that are out there really focus on pulling information from the internet, and that's not viable for this specific industry, right? From all of the
no,
compliance and regulatory
yeah,
um, standpoints. So that's one of the reasons why, not only in the partners that we look for at Praxis Pro, but through our team, we are through and through have been living in this industry. And we're so excited about this partnership because again, another life science based partner that completely understands how to roll out a solution like this, especially for the commercial organization. It's really critical to build products like this.
all right. So the winner here is lots of discussion, but no solutions identified yet. It's not surprising. The bottom with 0% AI solutions are not yet on the radar. It's on everybody's radar, and it just looks like there are, different levels. Actually, probably a couple of people on the call now deployed and maintain enterprise solutions. So that's cutting edge and good on you for your organization. Let's dive into the product itself. So Cam, take it away.
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, we really at Praxis Pro focus on developing products that we know meet our customers where they are. Within life sciences, there are not many users on the commercial side of the business that are selling but through a screen like this. So, a lot of tools that are used in traditional B2B SaaS and enterprise SaaS, they just don't adopt well into the life sciences industry. And so, we know as I spent 10 years of my life living in my car, driving from customer to customer, or oftentimes driving from rep to rep to go on those field rides, we've got to make applications that fit into that specific workflow. And that is exactly what we do with our learning management system. So Praxis Pro Coach, again, is the third product that will live within that application. We are going to demonstrate a web-based experience to you today, but in the coming weeks and even months, we will have everything built into a one-stop shop for not only your sales professionals, not only your MSLs, your market access team, but now your coaches and people leaders at your organization. So we really focus on enabling our customers to standardize coaching across the board. Many of you have coaches across the country that have been coaches for probably a long time and have had different styles of coaching feedback and competencies along their journey throughout their career. But we want to help our organizations and our customers scale their training from a quality perspective, ensuring compliance, and most importantly, ensuring consistency across that training and development of their people leaders.
Yeah, that consistency on feedback is so important. We've all been in, day-long sessions about coaching, or even in a selling setting where you do a role play at the end of the day, and it's kind of like a high five. You're not really getting anything that's going to make you a better coach in that moment. And in this place, you're getting that consistent, if you ask the senior sales leader or the brand team leader, how do you want your people to be coaching? You'll have that consistent feedback deployed against every member of that management team. The other thing I want to point out is that in a lot of cases, when we work with an organization to do traditional analysis, we provide that feedback, based on a huge sample, obviously, of field coaching or coaching conversations. And it's not but it takes time, right? It takes time for us to process that data. But in this setting with PraxisPro Coach, we can now provide instant measurable feedback that is powered by everything that we do in those longer traditional analyses, right? People want to know, where do I stand with regard to the best practices that you're talking about? Now they can see that every time they pick up the tool. They also want to see, like, how do I compare it to other people in my therapeutic area, to my competition? And all of our insights that we've gathered over the year, more than 75,000 coaching conversations and coaching reports are embedded in this tool. So not only is it measurable, but it allows the user, allows leaders on this team to actually be able to start to see, hey, how do we compare? Where do I need to grow? What are our needs as a team? It's a fantastic yardstick, not just individually, but also organizationally and across the industry.
Absolutely. And this will be actually a glimpse into the future of where PraxisPro Coach is going to eventually go. But this will be a shout out to my two co-founders, Dr. Benny Aloof and our Chief Technology Officer, Brigu Giri. But we are building in this all-inclusive personalized recommendation engine into the platform so that we can truly deliver bespoke coaching to every specific coach that this platform or this product is deployed to. So imagine a world where we actually have AI-enabled coaching that is purpose-built just for Ed, right? As he then goes out and coaches his team, or just for Cam and my team, and how I specifically need to get better based on competencies that align to that organization. So this personalization and recommendation engine that we are building into the platform is only going to make coaching more personalized and specific to the target coach to ensure that they're giving the most appropriate and impactful coaching to their sales professionals, ultimately impacting the most amount of patients that our companies, our customers are out there trying to impact every single day.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Are you ready to do some coaching? Yeah.
I am going to give it my best. I'm going to give it my best. I haven't been in a field ride and a coach in some time, but I think it's like riding a bike, right? All
That's
right.
what I always say.
Absolutely.
Or coaching somebody riding a bike.
Absolutely. All right. So you can see my last score was not very good, 0.5, but we are doing a lot of testing in this product. So it's exciting to see. But here is the intro to PraxisPro Coach. This environment, again, this is on the web experience. However, this will be within the next few weeks completely integrated into the PraxisPro mobile app so that you will have all of your solutions at the tip of your fingers for your users and easily able to deploy across your completely decentralized commercial organization, or even internally as well for your organization. So we want to make sure that PraxisPro Coach is not just geared towards commercial stakeholders and commercial people leaders, but any people leader that lives within your organization can have access to this platform and specifically this product. So we start and gamify the experience with our last score, average scores. We even focus on different coaching matrix that will continue to be built out as we expand our partnership with Echelon. the log where you can actually see all of the role plays that have been done, and then also previous sessions. As I go into PraxisPro Coach on the left-hand side here, we have the different tiles or scenarios that are built out here. So one of the things that I'd like to call out is that we can make this as robust as possible, and we hyper configure to our organization. I know that we have some of our current customers on this call right now, so they know the level of configuration that our platform can go into and the level of detail that we can go into as well. One of the things that as we build these specific profiles or scenarios for our customers, we want this experience to be as probabilistic as everyday coaching is, right? When I go into a field ride, I don't know exactly what objections or what pushback that sales professional may have for me. So we want to create an environment and a practice environment that one can be used in a safe place, which for this industry, for this specific user, the sales manager is in their car as they're driving from field ride to field ride. But we want to also make it very dynamic where they don't really know exactly what the questions may come from that specific agent that they may be role playing with, because that is what the real world of coaching is actually like. So as we open up the specific profile, we've got performance trends. So we want to give the user the ability to actually understand what they're stepping into in this role play. So we give them high level details on this specific rep. The cool thing about this is I know I had this rep when I was a manager. So when Ed sent this profile over, I had the rep that had been in their territory for about 10 to 15 years. Reputation preceded themselves, always met or exceeded those expectations on their year-end review. But what I noticed when I got into the car with them, their pre-call planning was a little vague. Maybe they heavily relied on existing relationships with their customers. And so it made it very difficult to provide coaching to them in a way that they can see it as actionable and impactful. Ed, you want to talk a little bit about kind of how we build this performance trends profile?
I do, and I love the fact that I sent you something, and you were like, "Wait, is this the person that was used to be on my team?" I always think that's a good thing when we can put together a scenario that really rings true. But I think as a manager, I remember back in my day when I was thinking about sitting down to do some coaching with something, even though I wasn't going to coach to performance or coach to results, those are some of the first symptoms that as managers we see. We see people who are maybe slipping in the rankings, or maybe they're just not getting as much time with doctors, or maybe they're just in a comfort zone. And even though you can't necessarily coach to those things, those are the things that start to pop up in a manager's mind like, huh, all right, I need to dig deeper. And when we dig deeper and we start to coach, for people that are familiar with Echelon or have seen our research, the number one best practice that top managers employ is that they coach to skills that support strategy. So again, they don't coach to results. They dive in and they align and they understand what skills are actually building or supporting strategy. And that's where they focus their coaching. And that's why, okay, we can start with performance trends. Let's get down to the next level with observed behaviors.
Absolutely. So one of the things that I used to think about a lot as I go into field rides is really thinking back to the previous field ride. What observed behaviors did I experience with Alex, let's say here, the last couple months ago when I was with her or with Alex? So some of the things that we got to think about with this specific type of user is that specifically, this is not the first attempt at coaching Alex, right? The social pressure. This person is somebody that maybe on my team is perceived that they get a pass because they've been with the organization for a long time. And then maybe even previous experiences with this specific sales professional. Alex and I worked together previously when I was a sales rep, and so was she. So it's something that we got to think about, that dynamic when we go into a lot of these field rides, and we want to pull that real world experience into the role play experience for the specific user.
Yeah. And one of the things I do want to just touch base here on is that when you started talking about the different persona, a manager can go into this setting, into this page, and start a conversation with Alex, the coaster, and it's never going to be the same conversation twice. And it's funny, when we were in the development phase, when we were in the practice phase in developing the product, I would go in and I would coach Alex and I would coach out, and every time the conversation just went in a different direction based on the things that I was saying. So again, it says here, this is not your first attempt to coach Alex. It's going to be that feeling of newness or that real dynamic of coaching every time you open the
Yeah.
platform.
And that dynamicism that you just talked about, Ed, that's the power of this partnership, right? Echelon's more than 20 years of data that has been collected on what makes great coaches, specifically in life sciences, great coaches. That is what Praxis Pro Coach is being powered by, and that's what's giving you that dynamic experience that you will not receive with any other product that's on the market. So another just feather in the cap of why we're so excited about this partnership. The last thing here that we always give to the user is the scenario or the goal, right? As we think about as a manager, when I was going into field rides, I always wanted my sales professionals to have a goal for that day that I was with them, whether that be to overcome some really difficult objections with their customers, or for me to observe certain things that they wanted to tweak or work on while we came out of a recent POA meeting or a recent national sales meeting. So not only do we want our sales professionals to have goals and plans for their days and field rides, but we as coaches want to reframe our mind to also have goals as we go into those field coaching opportunities, because it is something that is just like we try and challenge our representatives to have call continuum with their customers. As coaches and as people leaders, we want also to have call continuum or coaching continuum with our direct reports as well.
Yeah. And part of and I'm not going to go into a big thing on this, but goals are so important on so many levels. There's two things that really hang together through all of our research. One is skill, the other is goals. If you don't have a goal in terms of long-term growth in a skill, if you don't have a skill goal for a field visit, right, you're missing a major opportunity to impact somebody's ability. So everything that we talk about and we would preach in a live workshop or just working with a client in terms of having a plan, like what is the goal for this conversation, that's mirrored within the technology, and that's just so critical.
Absolutely. We also give the user the ability to customize their experience. So as we continue to build in different trainee types, different coachability levels, and this also can be configured to our customer. So if you already have a coaching model that you would like to just layer on top of the Echelon model as well, we can also do that from a configuration perspective, and then nicely weave everything together for you as an organization. All right, so we're going to jump right into the role play here. Hey, Alex, how's your day going?
Morning. Hope you brought some good luck with you.
I always like to think I bring good luck with me, but I know that you have done a lot of work to get to where you are and with your customers, so there's not a lot of luck involved. But I want to really get a good understanding of what the day is going to look like and some of the things maybe you want to work on as we're coming out of this national sales meeting.
I appreciate that. My relationship building has always been my strength. Customers trust me and know I'm reliable. I'm consistent with follow-ups and I deliver what I promise. I'm meeting my targets, so the foundation is solid. I suppose I'm open to refining certain aspects if it can help me connect better with newer accounts without losing what already works.
Great. Yes, I completely agree. You do have great relationships with your customers. So when you say sharpening different aspects, what are some of those aspects you're looking to sharpen?
That's fair. I'd say one area could be how I introduce newer product information without overloading the conversation. Another might be finding ways to shorten some of my calls without losing that personal touch. And maybe I could sharpen how I handle objections from newer prescribers. Those are probably the main areas I could look at.
That's great. So today I really want to focus on that objection handling, right? We did learn about some objections and we worked on some objection handling at the recent national sales meeting. But I also want to make sure that you're pulling through those objection handling with key action items that you want to ask for commitments on with our customer. So having that call to action that can be time stamped and then actionable for you to follow up on would be something that I also want to really work on and observe from you today. Is that fair?
That sounds fair. I've been handling objections pretty consistently, especially with my long-term accounts. But I see where you're coming from. I suppose tying those objections to a clearer action item or commitment could give me a stronger follow-up. I'm curious, what would make a call to action more effective in your view?
All right, so I will end the role play there. While the feedback is generating, I will pass it over to you, Ed, if we have any questions in the
Yeah, I
chat.
know it's on the line. Claire, have you had any questions that we can take care of while the feedback is configuring?
We've had a couple of questions, but I think I'm going to give you the ones that are sort of relevant to the role play, just the actual demo we just did right now. There was a question was, how many different persona types could you have? And then coupled with that was also, can you customize them to the specifics in our own sales teams and in our own coaching sort of goals? So they're kind of interrelated, so I'll let you have them both at the same time.
I'll
Yeah,
start with
please.
this question first. Maybe we could even split it up, Cam. But second question first, it's highly customizable. We want the experience of the manager in this platform to directly reflect their everyday conversations with their team. So they're highly customizable, not just to the organization, but they're customizable to the therapeutic area. And we'll get to this in a second, but they're customizable to other coaching tools and resources that are already in place. So think of things like competency models, grow coaching, situational leadership. All of those can be embedded into this platform in a way that helps bring together. I mean, a lot of organizations we work with use those platforms. We want to make sure that it's just one platform that can have all of that contained in it. And in terms of the number of personas, I would say we have 2 here for the demo, but we can bring that up to maybe 4, maybe 5, but I don't want to get into the place where we have 10 different demos that all reflect the 10 members of my team. There are so many, like we said, we have clients in psychology and cardiovascular and metabolics. A lot of the human behavior, a lot of the dynamics of sales and performance are consistent across those different places. So again, maybe 3, maybe 4 persona is probably the sweet spot in terms of the varied practice that a manager would need.
Yeah, I completely agree. Highly configurable. And we actually see this across all of the products on the PraxisPro platform. So we've got one customer that sells in 3 different sales forces, from psychiatry, neurology, and even long-term care. We've got another client that is on the pulmonology and cardiology side as well. So we can configure it to those different types of sales forces, because the coaching is different, right? I was a sales manager in both neurology and long-term care back when I was in the role. And the coaching is very different for long-term care sales professionals than it is in neurology outpatient or psychiatry outpatient or cardiology outpatient, right? And so we can hyper configure the experience to match the specific need of that coach. And we pull that through across every single product that's on the platform.
Do we have Cam, do we have time for a couple of other questions, or do you want to?
The feedback's ready.
Okay, so let's do the
up to you.
feedback and then, no, let's do the feedback, then we can go back to other questions.
Great, great. So, all right. So as the user completes the feedback, a few things that I'll call out. We capture feedback instantly from the user in the PraxisPro platform. So we can say that the call went good, clear responses, natural, engaging, and then we can even give the user free text opportunity to capture this feedback. So demo with Echelon, we submit that feedback. That goes directly to the admin users within the PraxisPro platform. Right now, that is typically the sales training department, capturing instant feedback at scale across your organization every single day that role plays are done. We then have overall feedback of how I performed in that specific role play. I think, Ed, this is probably my best score yet, so I'm getting better as I'm in the platform. 3.75. I've got some ways to go on my average score there. But I did capture 3 out of the 4 coaching competencies around coaching quality. We then provide specifically top strengths for the users, developmental areas. This is a first for me, where there's no improvement areas found. But then we go into, and this is again diving into the partnership here between PraxisPro and Echelon. Ed, can you talk to us a little bit about the basics model and why that's valuable and important here for our customers?
Absolutely. So as we said, there are 4 coaching best practices, of which coaching quality is number 4. And the criteria that we have seen in our research over the years and is tried and tested is the basics criteria. And basics is just an acronym that stands for balanced, actionable, specific, impact, continuity, and supportive. Again, different aspects of coaching. So what we will be able to do here is to actually break down each of those different criteria and give the user actionable feedback based on each of the six. And as you can see there, the tool is actually lifting parts of the conversation, analyzing it in real time, and again, giving that manager direct feedback that they can go back and incorporate into their next role play.
Absolutely. The one thing I do love about this product and why I wish that I had that, I wish I had in the car with me something that was telling me after I had a practice session, hey, to strengthen that specific actionable piece of that role play, the coach could say, right? Giving the user the ability to actually have additional pieces brought into their coaching language that they use and giving those recommendations. I wish that I had this when I was in the field.
And I'll say that, and we can just move on to the next bit. But those criteria is really how a lot of people know us, the coaching quality people. There's a 92% correlation between coaching that includes those six criteria and overall manager success. So imagine being a manager, like you said, who is getting that feedback right away and knows that if I go back and I spend more time and I continue to use this tool, not only will my coaching be higher quality, it will also get me that much closer to higher performance. So that's where it all comes together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can't wait to get this fully integrated into the PraxisPro app. It's going to be great to have it mobile.
All right. So let me just do this. I'm going to go back to where we were. Again, I'm just going to touch on this briefly because I do want to get to the questions. But Clara, you had said one of the questions was around the different simulations. One of the things that we did not touch on here is the being designed of, by, and for people within this industry. We know a lot about PRC and med legal. Cam, do you just want to touch on that really quickly?
Yeah, so the great thing is we started from the ground up. Our platform was built on knowing that we have to go through the PRC, MLR, PRB, everyone's got a different name for it, compliance process. So we work with our clients intimately on not only the initial implementation of PraxisPro solutions through MLR, PRC, but the consistent ongoing approval and update of different materials that you may have, different coaching models, et cetera. So our entire team is trained on this MLR PRC process. We actually work directly in parallel with our customers to upload and take and manage that material through their compliance processes. And so again, going back to the value of coming from the industry, we know exactly what's going on internally from an organization perspective to try and get these types of solutions to market with your commercial organizations or even internally. And we've purpose-built our platform to handle and manage that effectively.
Beautiful. Beautiful. So we're at the end here. I did promise this. Again, you've all proven yourselves to be quite fluent with QR codes. If you are interested in downloading a readiness assessment for yourself, for your team, for your peers, just to kind of have a collective understanding in terms of where the organization is, in terms of your readiness for AI-powered role play like PraxisPro Coach, click on the QR code here, capture it. You'll be able to download directly from that site, that readiness assessment. Again, you can do it on your own. You can share it with your peers. You can share it with us. But really, it hopefully will ground yourself and the people around you in a conversation as to, all right, how do we take the next step to onboarding a tool like this? So that's all I have in terms of slides. Cam, I know we're kind of at the end here, but I know also that Claire is still here and she has some of the questions that have been coming in through the chat. So
Yeah.
let's know we're at time.
We have a couple of quick questions, so maybe we'll just do them quickly and see if we can get everyone answered. One of the questions was, what's the boarding time? What's the implement time? How long does it take to get PraxisPro Coach up and running?
Yeah, so the great thing is PraxisPro Coach, powered by Echelon, is a product that is ready off the shelf for any sort of commercial organization or even internally to deploy within organizations. We do know that, again, products like that we offer at PraxisPro, typically, if they're touching the commercial organization, have to go through that MLR or PRC process. So we can have PraxisPro coach ready for a customer tomorrow, but we know that compliance piece is going to take some time, and we're happy to work through that specific part of the organization and that flow to onboard products like us with our customers. But we can have it ready tomorrow.
Fabulous. And then another question, and I can actually, I'll state the question and I can answer it, but which was, can we have a copy of this webinar or the slides from this webinar? And the answer is yes. Anybody who is registered or who joined us today will get an email afterwards with a link to the video of this. And somebody else asked if they can get in touch with us how do we get started if we want to get started? And that's actually a great question. And in the email that you'll get, there'll be a link to schedule a meeting, or you could reach out to Ed or Cam directly as well. I mean, really. So, and there are a few other questions, but we are at time, but I know who posted the questions. And so I'll keep a note of them and we'll get back to you individually as well.
Right.
Sounds
Go ahead.
Again, on behalf of Cam and myself, Claire, and the teams at both of our companies, thank you for spending your time. I know this, again, is a busy time of year, but we really appreciate your interest in the product and look forward to talking with you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you again.